Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very cool little review. This is a little budget banger that was given to the channel thanks to Kansept. Yeah, let's review this knife. All right, the knife that we're checking out today is the Main Street. It's a knife by Kansept that they sent here to the channel for me to get a chance to handle and check out. And I will tell you, I like this. It's a really neat, larger, if you will, budget knife. And I do consider it a budget knife. So we'll get into the cost and everything here in a second, but it's got a lot of amenities that I like on this knife. And I think it's pretty nice. All right. So first of all, the knife name, this is called the Main Street. That's the name of the knife, Main Street. The knife manufacturer is Kansept. It's made by Kansept as the OEM, and the design is, I believe, Doug Pinkerton, so Pinkerton Designs or something. I'm not sure if it's Doug, but it is Pinkerton Designs, I believe. Now I'm thinking I got the first name wrong. I don't know why I went with Doug. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I don't even know. Just Pinkerton Designs. But if I'm right, great. If I'm not, correct me. The blade steel on this guy is 154 cm. Where are we? There we are. 154 cm, which is pretty nice. Not a lot of aggressive jimping up there. I mean, there is some to the side. So if you get to the side, you're not going to slide off. So if you're doing slide cut or push cut, if you're dead center on, you're on there. Actually, if you push down pretty good and your hand's a little soft, you'll actually grab that. I actually can feel that. And wait, hold on. It does kind of hold you there, especially a little bit of an angle. It really does. It is a liner lock. Truly, you'd probably consider this an inset liner lock because the liners are inset inside the Micarta scales, which are pretty nice. It's black Micarta. Nice and rounded on the corners. No sharp edges anywhere. Even the clip is nice and round. It's got a nice evenly ramp to go over. That's cool. Now the clip, I believe, is steel. And, hold on. I don't know. Hold on. I don't think the clip is steel. I think it's titanium. It's a titanium clip. When I first unboxed this, I thought this was steel because it's magnetic. I think it's attracted to the liners because the liners, so it's really holding it. When I'm out here, it's barely holding on, which means there's really not that creating a magnetic force. All right, so steel liners. There is some weight relief. You look inside, there's some cutouts there, so that's pretty nice. It is got a nice cutout to get to the liner. It is chamfered there. I wish it was a little rounded. That would be my one little wish. But the nice thing is this Micarta it's got enough room that if I got my Dremel and this was mine, I could round it very easily. I could just put a little groove. That's all that I would need for my big old meaty fingers, but still pretty good access to get there. I mean, it's a pretty stiff liner, so you could tune it as well if you wanted to. Nice and smooth. Definitely put skiffs on there would make it just a little bit nicer. And a knife like this is right in that realm where I think it's worth getting skiffs if it's going to be a regular everyday carry kind of knife, right? So, and we got T8s right here, T8s all the way around. The clip are T6s, but these are all T8s, so that's nice, right? It is, looks like tip up or tip down right-hand carry, so that's interesting. No left-hand carry. There's no holes on the other side at all, so it's tip up or tip down. That I would never carry that tip down, but some people like to do that, so there you go. You'd be very happy about that, I guess. I like the Wharncliffe blade, reverse Tonto modified Wharncliffe sheep's foot, whatever you want to call this. I don't really care, but it is a very utilitarian blade. Comes out pretty nice tip. We'll measure the thickness here in a second. It's robust for a thinner knife. It's not super thick, but I'm going to guess it's like 120 thousandths of an inch, right? It does come to a nice thin flat edge. It's pretty flat grind right here, and it comes down to a pretty thin, nice slicey edge with a nice pokey tip. Get into your dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, cases of water, Amazon boxes, gifts, letters, whatever you get into, right? It looks like it's going to do its job. 154 cm strops up nicely, easy to sharpen relatively, keeps a fairly good edge. 154 cm is corrosion resistant. It's not considered stainless steel because it doesn't have enough of the elements in there to make it fully stainless steel, but it's pretty close. So it's pretty good. Now, if you're in a super wet environment, maybe it's not quite your cup of tea, but if you're in a not too bad area and you oil your knife regularly, you should be fine, I think. At least that's my personal opinion. It's got two standoffs in the back. There's a little jimping in here as well, that kind of unique jimping that goes inside. So it's kind of clandestine, and it works over here on the G10 and over here. So like if I'm doing like a push cut into a leather or a wooden box, or I'm doing like a pull cut or something like that, I've got I can squeeze in here. It's got a little, anti-slip kind of grip, which is nice, right? So, I can have my fingers back here, whatever. I think that's the idea. It's meant to give you some texture, some contrast knife wouldn't slip out, which is really nice with the Micarta, because if you get wet and sweaty, sometimes it gets a little slick. It's always nice to have a little place where you can get some grip on there, right? So I think that's pretty darn cool. I like the handle. I've got large hands with big meaty fingers. Definitely room for an extra large hand, maybe even double extra large hands with big meaty fingers, I think. So I choke up, like, yeah, definitely room there, right? If you have regular size hands, this would be an extra large. If you have smaller, thinner fingers, you'd be double extra large hands like this, right? Okay. I do have shorter fingers, but it's easy to access everything. It's not super crazy, weird, long, or anything like that. Caged bearings in there, some thumb studs, which is nice. And really, that's going to be your main opening, is your 2 thumb studs, right? That's what most people will do. They'll just do the 2 thumb studs. I don't think I can do the top flipper. No, it's not really. But it does have middle finger reverse bonus flick, because you have enough of that flat grind. I can get my finger, even left-handed, in there to get a little bonus flick, which I like. I like that. I like having more than one way. And middle finger reverse flick is something I love to do on my Trevor Burgers. He usually has a nice design that works. It just works really nice. So that's cool. Definitely comfortable in the hand. Everything's nice and rounded. I do like that. I can do a squeeze test. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. Definitely can do a nice control cut with that nice reverse Tonto modified Wharncliffe sheep's foot, high fin, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, whatever, modified. But it's definitely very functional. And I like the fact that everything's rounded all the way out. There's not really, I mean, I'm looking, and everywhere I feel, there's no hot spots. And I got a little piece of lint right there, it looks like. Or is that just from the clip? Oh, the clip's a little loose. I got to tighten that up. Okay. I did take it apart to look at it, so I'll tell you that. And, pretty cool. So let's tighten that clip a little bit, because obviously it is loose. There we go. Get it nice and centered here. Yep. All right. So sometimes, they may not put a lot of Loctite when they come out of the factory, and that's fine. That allows you to adjust it if you want to. I think that's nice. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Nice and solid in there. Okay. So it was just a clip sliding back and forth. And since it's Micarta, after a while, that just, see, it'll just go away. You can just rub your finger over there and it goes away. It's just a little, it's like, like the, patina with the oils in your hands, right? So if I'm me handling it and you feel like, oh, it's got Robert's, oily patina hands on there or whatever, just use some alcohol, clean it right up. I try not to leave it like that for you guys, but I'm not perfect. I am checking the knife out, and then we're going to make it a giveaway, right? It's a cool knife, definitely very functional. It's something that I would, if I didn't do all these crazy giveaways for you guys, I would definitely have this like as a car knife or something like that. It would be in my car just as an extra knife. I think that would be really nice to have. I do like that. I like that a lot. And I do like the middle finger reverse bonus flick. And it works really well. Here. I can do it really nicely. So that's really cool. Liner lock means I don't have to worry about my hand over here pressing on the lock bar. So it's very easy to work over here left-handed as well. Very nice, very fidgety, very, very, very fun to carry and use. So it makes it a very fidgety knife. I will say it's placement, thumb studs. I mean, it feels like hardly any pressure there, right? Yeah, as long as you don't try to go up at the top and slide over them, but I'm barely putting any pressure. I'm just getting in the angle of the volcano there, which is a nice step milled little kind of a thumb stud. Really comfortable, not super sharp, very rounded. It is functional, works really great, gives you enough texture, but comfort to really, I mean, I could fidget this all day, and I don't think I would be at some point going, ooh, my finger hurts. No, not at all. I mean, I've had some thumb studs that are, they're the little pocket scrapers. This is not. All right, opening, closing. Closing is really nice. You can drop it, and then you can catch it right there on the choil. So I'm not going to have a guillotine on my finger. It's not going to cut into my nail or my thumb, which I always appreciate, so that I can do one-handed fidget closing like that. So that's really cool, right? The closing is really nice as well. It does have like a nice controlled drop shut. You put skiffs in there, this thing would be ridiculous, and it must be loose in the pivot too. I didn't tighten the pivot because, yeah, we're gonna leave it for you guys so you can take care of the thing, right? Where is my other T6? Where did I put that? I must have put it. Oh, it's over here. There you go. No, well, that's a T8. So, oh, this is the T6. Yep, this is the T6. All right, so over here. Okay, very good. All right, so it is. I might have to use another. Oh yeah, that's really loose. Wow. Okay, I'll see if I did it too tight. No, not at all. I mean, could be probably a little bit looser. You put a Loctite. Ooh, feels even smoother now. Oh, that's nice. That's not, it was probably too loose before. It felt almost a little gritty. That kind of took some of the grittiness away. So if you're not a big skiff person, I will tell you that it's not bad. Not bad at all. But skiffs will make this so much better. But that's nice. All right, so now we're nice. Yeah, dead nut center. Really good. Let's see here. Let's how do we do that middle finger reverse flick? Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. Yeah, great. Yeah, fantastic. I love that. I love that. Nice and almost crowned spine there. It's really chamfered well. It feels almost like a crown spine, but it's chamfering, but it's done well. No sharp spots up here, which is really, really comfortable. Nice, beautiful rounded up here, even for the stop pin. Sometimes this can be a little sharp and get you. The tang of the blade, which is the sharpest part of any of the knife, besides the blade, is totally concealed and totally contained, and you're not going to have access and put your hand on there. And it's well behind the scales here, so it's nice, nice, really well done. Pinkerton Designs, I like what he did here, so really cool. All right, so how's open close? We talked about the blade, talked about blade shape. Let's do some weights and measurements. What do y'all say? Let's see how much this bad boy weighs. If I can get my scale over here that I have everything laying on top of, which is probably not the smartest thing. All right, I'm gonna guess 3.5, 4 ounces, somewhere around there, maybe, I don't know. 3.8 ounces, I'm right there. So maybe 3.75, and I might've been exactly in the middle. So perfect, 3.8 ounces, that's not bad at all. It's relatively comfortable and not super heavy. Mind you, it has steel liners, so you always gotta keep that in mind, right? Let's see the overall length. Overall length of the knife, we're looking at just under 8 inches. So I'm going to say it's 7 and 7/8. So yeah, 7 and 7/8 is right there, just a hair below that. The overall area, if you go from here to here, it's 4 inches. You got 4 inches. Now, if you choke up just a little bit more and you use this back part, you get about almost 4 1/3 of an inch. So that's pretty good for larger hands, right? Overall blade length, if you go from the tip to right here, we're right at, I want to say 3 3/8. The overall cutting length is right at 3 3/8. So there you go, 3 3/8 of cutting length. All right, let's see. What about the overall blade stock thickness? Where are we at with that? So sometimes, you know, that can make a difference with how well of a cutter and slicer it is. So let's see what we're at the very thickest. I said about 120 thousandths of an inch. So right here, we're at 127 thousandths of an inch right there. Let's go toward the blade edge here. Now we're down to 128. 127.5. So 128 thousandths of an inch still. So that's not bad. I mean, that's for a knife that's almost 8 inches. It's almost a full size, I would say. At 8 inches, that's where I kind of make it a full size knife. It is it's got a pretty decent blade stock thickness. You definitely can do some work with this. It's one of these, you know, it is a liner lock. It's a pretty robust steel liner lock. I like that. Not one of those really, really thin, kind of gimpy little steel liner locks. Yeah, it's pretty robust. As far as a frame lock, liner lock, I mean, I think it's going to allow for really good heavy use. It's not a fixed blade. It's not an axe. So use the right tool for the right job, right? If you're expecting this to be an axe, crowbar, pry bar, what? No, get a pry bar, get a crowbar, get an axe, get a fixed blade, whatever. Get the right tool. I mean, if it's your money, it's your knife, you do whatever the heck you want, but I don't recommend that because one, you'll break the tip, you know, and then this won't be as good tool as it could be. And I think it's a pretty nice tool for what you're getting here. All right, so what category does it fall into? Is it a budget? Is it regular? It's definitely not a high end. I will tell you, it is a budget knife. It's under $100. My range, under $100, I consider a budget. At White Mountain Knives, it's selling for $79 right now, $79.50 or something like that. So that's a pretty good price. Definitely under $100. Some people have 70 or 75 as their budget line. If you take the 10% off that you get at White Mountain Knives, you know, you take the almost take $8 off. So it's 79, so it's like 72, around $72. So $72 definitely puts it into that close to that really nice budget line. Mine is definitely under $100. That's what I'm going to call a budget. You may not agree, but that's what I call a budget, right? Super budget is 50 or below. So this is definitely a budget. It's got some nicer materials. 154 I like over Nitro V and over 14C28N. 14C28N and Nitro V are great steels for budget knives. If this had 14C28 or Nitro V, I would expect this to be about 60, 65, right? At 79, 154 CM, that's not bad. With a titanium clip, I think it's justifiable. And with a little 10% discount, you're paying 72. I mean, 154 CM, titanium clip, steel liners, pretty robust knife, beautiful micarta. It's really comfortable. They have variants of this. I think I saw carbon fiber and some really higher end S35VNs one. So if you wanted something a little more premium, you could absolutely do that. The nice thing about the micarta, it's very soft. It's a nice micarta. It's not one of those, it's not, I don't know, it's not a canvas. What do they call it? Let me see, what do they say it? Do they call it just black micarta? Just black micarta. I feels like linen micarta, maybe. Definitely not canvas. Definitely not, yeah. I won't say linen micarta. That's what I would, not denim for sure. So, but pretty nice. I like that. I like that. It's a lot smoother now that I tighten that pivot up. That's really, really cool. Yeah, digging that. All right, so definitely that. What's the purpose of this? EDC hard use collection piece? Well, I would say a budget knife is really not a collection piece, but you do you. Collect what you want. If you want to collect it, collect away, right? For me, a budget knife is something you can use and abuse and throw away once you're done. So I would say that that is the purpose of this knife. But you can collect it. It is a pretty knife. It's nice. You know, it depends on what you want. Sometimes maybe you just like the designer. Maybe you like Pinkerton designs and you enjoy the look of this knife. There are some nicer versions of this that would kind of fall into the collection area. I would say it'd be a little more reasonable in my mind to be a collection piece. It's definitely an EDC knife to use and abuse. I think for a liner lock, you can absolutely hard use it. Now, that's relative to being a liner lock. It's not a fixed blade. It's not an axe. But for a liner lock, I think this is definitely a hard use and abuse type of knife. You could certainly do that with this knife and enjoy it. I think that would be fantastic. So yeah, I'm definitely all in favor of that. Ergos and feel, overall design, what do I think about it? The handles are really nice. My one qualm, and that's the only qualm it really is just the one, and that's it. One thing that I don't like about this knife is the fact that this is flat. And even that, because of the micarta here, I can get a Dremel and I can fix that in a heartbeat. Even just a regular file, if you just, all you have is a file, you take the scale off, you can file that really nicely. And you can get it nice and rounded. You can even get a little chamfering in there if you wanted that. That make it a little more comfortable too. Even if I just chamfered it right inside here, that would be so much nicer, right? Because then it's a little easier for my big old meaty fingers. I've got big meaty fingers. I don't have, you know, the normal thin skinny fingers most people have. So for me, sometimes, you know, having a little extra access, it's nice. This is not bad. Trust me, this is not bad at all. I could live with this. I really could. Let's say this was titanium. It would be doable. Absolutely doable. So for sure, it's very fidgety. I do like that. I've enjoyed getting a chance to carry and handle this knife. I didn't abuse and do a hard use test. I'm not a destruction test engineer. The knife was given to the channel, and as because of that, I want to give it away. I'm going to make it a giveaway. So this will be a future giveaway. And so I like to, you know, test it, use it, cut some paper, see how well it strops. And like if you didn't know, I have my little strop here, and I usually do a little test because 154 cm strops up really nice, really does. What I look for is make sure I find the angle. And this one looks like it's about 20 degrees. That's what it feels like. Yeah, I think this is around 20 degrees. And so when you get a fresh factory edge like this at 20 degrees, a lot of times there might be a little burr, you know, it's done on a machine kind of cry. And I do a few strops of this. And then next thing you know, this thing is like nice and laser sharp. And 154 cm is a steel that strops up nicely. It's very well maintained, and you could reprofile it. If you wanted a longer edge, you certainly could do that. Let me see. I think I have a box over here. Not a box. I mean, sorry. I think I have a piece of paper I can cut. So let's try that. So yeah, so I'm going to save this piece of paper for another knife because I don't need a whole sheet. But yeah, definitely. Whoops. But it's nice to cut at a right angle. I mean, it's definitely toothy. If I spent a few minutes stropping this, I think this knife could get pretty sharp. 154 cm LMAX, CPM 154, RWL 34. All those types of steels, they're nice. They're relatively easy to maintain edge and strop, and they polish up nicely. So you can get a polished edge that's very sharp, and they have a pretty good edge retention. I mean, are they S30? Are they 20 CV, M390, you know, that type of steel? No. Are they, you know, well-treated Magna Cut, or let's say RWL 40, Rex 45, maybe Rex 121, that's extreme, but you know, S45 VN, are they? No, I mean, it's not, those are all definitely a little better steels, but for the price and what you get for 154 ingot steel, it's not the Crucible version. The Crucible CPM 154, that's the powdered version. That's definitely a step better. It's going to have better, what they call austenites, and what's the other term they use in there? That's the metabites. It's weird. There's another one. It's like after you go through the heat treat and then when it cools back down, it's the cooling that actually makes the hardness of the steel, but you know, allows you to have some of that edge retention. But so watching Larry Thomas, if you ever want to check him out, Laren Thomas. Not Larry, Laren Thomas. He's really cool. He definitely has a Knife Steel Nerds. definitely worth checking out. He gets a little deep. So for some of you guys, it may, maybe a little much. You may not care for that, but I like his stuff. I think it's worth wading through. Sometimes it gets a little deep, gets a little thick, but he's definitely someone who knows his stuff, and he can certainly give you some insights on some of these steels. A lot of times the best thing about most steels is going to be obviously the angle, the geometry, and then obviously if all those being equal, then it's going to be the heat treat. And you D2 heat treat it well is a very good steel, just like CPM 154 heat treat it well is a very good steel. Now, all those steels heat treat it like garbage, they're garbage, right? So there you go. All right, so overall design, handles, opening, closing, it's really nice. It's fidgety, so fidgety. Even with the thumb studs, they're done well, they're placed well, they're easy to access, right? I didn't put any oil in there, and so you're gonna see this, it looks like, oh, it's a little sticky and stuff like that. You know what I realized? I took it apart just to look in the inside real quick because I wanted to look at something, but I didn't do any oil, and I meant to do that, but I thought, nah, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a little oil. Just because sometimes just a little bit of oil can make the difference on some of the action. So I put a little oil in there, not much, not much. Oh, let's get rid of that right there. Okay. And then we'll put just a little heavyweight, the 85 nanoweight oil. I'm going to put that on the detent ball. I always recommend that the 10 weight, 10, 15 weight nano oil, the light, the regular is for the cage bearings. The really light, the 5 weight nano oil, or 5 weight oil, if you have KPL, it's called extra light. I recommend that for automatics, right? That's the best for automatics. So you don't want anything getting in there and gunking it up. It needs to be, very fluid. But on a detent ball, I used a 85 weight nano oil. And then I want to make sure it goes across, gets all across the track there, right? So let's see. Does that change everything? I'll put just another drop because I barely put any on there. We just got to see it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this back up and put this away. I think you'll like it. I mean, I think it's good stuff. So let's go ahead and close this. All right, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's going to break in nicely. A little bit of oil, I think, goes a long way, and you can see it kind of patinas when you get the oil, and you can wipe that off with alcohol. Very cool little knife. So my overall feelings, what's the overall feeling on this? There's no lanyard loop. You could make that a lanyard if you want to tie it around it. You sort of could do it, I guess, if you're really into lanyards. I don't mind there's no lanyard loop personally. I don't care. To me, I don't need them. I like the clip. It definitely has a decent amount of room. It's not super deep, but it's definitely a decent amount of room. Beautiful ramp, easy to get in and out of pocket. I can guarantee you that. I've tried it. And it's super beautiful in and out of pocket, really nice. It doesn't have a captive pivot per se, right? But it does lock up really nicely. So T8's hardware, I love that. The steel, I love that. This is kind of like a stone, dark stone washed, if you want to call it. I don't call it PVD, but whatever. The action's beautiful, opening, closing, the grip, the comfort, everything's nice and smooth and rounded. Love all of that. So all that to me is just absolutely fantastic. So overall, I think it's great. And already, I can already tell you, just putting that oil in there, I kind of resist it, but I just went ahead and since we're doing the review as well. Yeah, this is actually breaking in nicely, because before I had it really loose and I didn't want to do it. Then I realized the pivot was kind of loose because it started moving. Once I tightened it, and I thought, a little bit of oil, yeah. And now I'm like, yeah, definitely. So for sure. Yeah, this is a nice little knife. I'm very impressed. I will tell you the fidget factor, typically 2 thumb studs, I mean, they work really well. So I'd probably give it a 3, right? But the bonus flick, it's not just barely a bonus flick. It's not like, ooh, I can get it once in a while. It's absolutely 100% functional. If I never wanted to use the thumb studs again, no problem. I could just use the middle finger reverse flick, left and right handed, no problem. I got to double it up. It's done so well on this knife that this is a 5.5. You give it 2.5 extra, right? Almost 3. Round it, we'll give it a 6. So it's a 6 rounded, 5.5 total. So this gets a 6. For 2 thumb studs, technically just being, that's it. A 6, yeah, that's pretty darn good. And the access here, even though I could round it, make it a little bit more comfortable, it's incredibly comfortable. It still is. It's not uncomfortable. I've been fidgeting with it, and I thought it was going to kind of dig in when I first opened it. No, not at all. Super comfortable. So yeah, a 6 out of 10 on as far as the fidget factor scale. Now, fidgety goodness, I'm going to give it a 98. And the only reason why I take 2 points off is just if this was just rounded or chamfered here, it would be absolutely heavenly, right? It would be absolutely heavenly and divine and beautiful. So if you could round that, I would love it. I would absolutely love that, 100%. Right? So to me, that would be, fantastic. So 98%, absolutely. I mean, that's an A+. It's not 100. It's so darn close. I mean, it's a budget line, and so I take that into account. But it's a nicer budget line, so I'm gonna hold it to a little bit more, just a little bit. 2 points I think is fair, and that's just a personal preference. You may it be 100 to you if you didn't need big old meaty fingers. You could care less, but for me, that's the only thing. That's my only one thing I would love to see, right? Otherwise, I mean, it's a darn good knife, and yeah, I was given a knife for free. I'm not doing the review because I was given a knife for free. I'm an equal opportunity critique. I will criticize a knife if they give it to me for free at the risk of never getting another one for free. But I like this one. I do. I like this one. I mean, if they're going to do a second version, I mean, that would be the only thing I would recommend because you got room. You got room to do that. You're already doing this. All you got to do is just scoop it, and then it's the same cut, set for a straight cut. I mean, that's all you got to do. To me at least, that's the way I look at it. But otherwise, yeah, fantastic. It's 100% recommended. 100% recommended. Yeah, 98 as far as fidgety goodness for sure. I just knocked over something. I don't know what it was. Sorry. Hopefully I didn't break it. That sounded like mints or something. But anyways, yeah, so great knife. I'm definitely going to recommend that. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button down below as well. Subscribing and liking the channel, it really helps me out. It allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you. Things like this, like Kansept sending me a knife. Thanks to you guys and you guys who watch and enjoy this content. I'm giving you my honest opinion or how my hands carry this. If you're not the same ergos, take that with a grain of salt and think about how it would be in your hand. Maybe everything that I do is the exact opposite for you. So then there could be some issues or maybe not. I don't know. So, I do that a lot. I mean, some guys who have giant hands, I always take that with a grain of salt. If they're able to work it well and they feel like it would work well, even smaller, then I'm like, ooh, I might be interested. But if it's a really big knife and their hands are stretching out, I'm going, yeah, it's a cool knife for big hands, maybe not for me. So, that's what you can do with this if you want to. It's your call. All right. So if you found this interesting, definitely do that. Just big thank you. Thank you for watching this video, being part of the channel. Maybe leaving comments, going to the live streams, liking the videos, maybe even being subscribing. I appreciate every one of you guys out there being part of the whole community. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. And also a big, if you haven't already, maybe hit that notification button down below as well. You can be notified of future content like this video. And a big shout out to all my channel members. Thank you for being members. I appreciate you guys. Sincerely, you guys are like my workout buddies. You allow me to do things way sooner than I ever thought I'd be able to do. You encourage me many times because I don't do this full-time, part-time, right? So thank you to you guys out there. I genuinely appreciate you guys for that. Yeah, and as a small way for me to say thank you, I do 2 cool exclusive things for my channel members. I do a once-a-month members giveaway. It's an exclusive one. I do a once-a-month banger kind of giveaway. This would be a banger giveaway for everybody, right? Really nice knife for somebody to win every week. That's what definitely this would be. But for the channel members, they get a little nicer knife. Definitely probably over $100, kind of maybe sometimes $200 worth of stuff, sometimes more. And I want to make sure it's something cool that maybe they would enjoy or give away, right? So that's my small way to say thank you to the channel members. Yeah, and then also do brand new channel members. If you've never asked, never received one, and you're currently a channel member, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a channel sticker and a little thank you note. It's my small way to say thank you. That applies to anybody who's been a channel member and is currently a channel member, whether you were a member all along or were a member and became a member again, but you've never asked for a sticker, you've never gotten a sticker at all. Yeah, you too. Email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a little channel sticker, a little thank you note. All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. If you haven't already, checked me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.